You ever been told to put your feelings aside, stop stressing, and just focus on what matters? What if your boss, your CEO, told you to do exactly that? Ignore your emotions, lock in on goals, drive forward. And then when you finally do it, calm, composed, efficient, he starts freaking out. What's happening there? Why does leadership say emotion is weakness until the very moment you prove them wrong? I lived this. I worked under a CEO who insisted. Emotions off. Focus only on metrics.
I did.
I pushed emotion aside. I kept moving. But suddenly, when I spoke clearly, when I acted purely on logic and focus, he lost his composure. This story goes from basic truth, why people value emotion control, to advanced lessons when suppressing emotion backfires, how to use emotion smartly, how to lead even when others panic. By the end, you'll understand what emotion really is, how to master it, not ignore it, and how to lead so strong that even the highest person in the room learns from you. If you stick around, I'll share 3 key pivots. First, understanding emotion control. Second, turning emotion into advantage. Third, holding authenticity while staying professional. And you'll see how letting go of fear, shame, or self-judgment is the breakthrough. Let me show you what happened when I obeyed, put emotion aside, and what flipped when CEO panicked. Putting emotion aside usually means, don't be upset, don't get angry, don't let your feelings distract you. Stay calm, stay logical. At basic level, people expect that in business. You don't cry in a meeting. You don't complain. You don't let the pressure show.
You focus on tasks.
You focus on deliverables. That's what put emotion aside is sold as. But emotion is part of being human. It's in your voice, your posture, in your choice of words. You can't fully erase it. Suppressing emotion means hiding doubt, hiding vulnerability, hiding kindness, hiding fear. That creates tension, internal tension. It builds up. You may feel disconnected from yourself. You may feel fake, but you think it's worth it. For success, for respect, for being seen as strong. Because many workplaces act like strength equals no visible emotion. But strength includes emotional clarity, knowing what you feel and guiding it. That's the next level to AT. First, when I tried it, I believed I was doing the right thing. I kept my face neutral in presentations. I rehearsed lines so I wouldn't tremble. I didn't show frustration when others dropped the ball. I didn't voice my fears even if I was nervous. I told myself, focus on facts, numbers, results. It worked, partly. People thought I was steady. People trusted me more. I avoided drama. But inside, I felt hollow. I noticed I was losing energy. I lost some joy. I stopped asking for help. I stopped admitting mistakes. And that silence cost me. Because when mistakes happened, people didn't know. They couldn't help. I lost connection with my team. Even though I kept delivering, something was off. The relationships weakened. The trust eroded. So I thought, maybe this suppression has a limit. Then came the moment where the CEO said directly, emotions aside, I need results. No distractions. Stick to logic. I nodded, agreed. I collected data, built plans, executed. I communicated only with what was necessary. I didn't vent. I didn't show doubt. I kept my cool. I acted like a machine. And then something curious happened. I presented a critical problem, one that needed urgent attention. I pointed out risks, but with calm analysis. I recommended corrective action, based on logic and data. But at that point, CEO's reaction was not calm. He started panicking. He snapped questions. He asked, why didn't you tell me earlier? He asked, why didn't you escalate? Suddenly, his confidence cracked. He wanted emotional reassurance. He wanted someone to say, yes, I'm worried too. He wanted someone to express concern. He needed empathy, transparency. The moment I had put emotion aside entirely, he realized something was missing. Human signal. Because when you suppress emotion, you suppress warning signs, you suppress cues. And sometimes leaders rely on those cues more than they admit. That experience taught me something essential. Emotion is not the enemy. Emotions are signals. They tell you when something's wrong, when risk is high, when relationships are fraying, when you need to recalibrate. When you ignore emotion entirely, you cut off part of your radar. So many problems build quietly, not loudly. Without someone expressing concern, people stay quiet. Risks go unnoticed until they explode. That's what happened. The CEO panicked because he didn't get early warning. No alarm. Nobody said, "This is tough, I'm worried." So when the issue became big, it startled him. He was unprepared. I realized, control emotion doesn't mean erase it. It means manage it. Let it inform your decisions. Use it to build empathy.
Use it to connect.
Use it to foresee risk. That's advanced emotional intelligence. That's what separates good leaders from great ones. Next, I worked on balance. I didn't abandon focus. I didn't abandon professionalism. But I allowed emotion to speak in safe ways. In meetings, I would say, "I'm concerned about this." But then follow with plans. I'd share what worries me and propose a solution. I'd communicate with humanity. I'd admit uncertainty when needed, but also commit to action. I'd encourage others to speak up, share their doubts. I made it safe for emotion. That changed the dynamic. The CEO started listening differently. He noticed when I flagged concerns, he trusted them. Because they were grounded. They were not drama. They were connected to reality. I became not just a focused employee, but a reliable partner who brought data and insight, logic and signal. That mix builds trust, speed, agility. Then I developed more advanced skills. Knowing when to show emotion, how much, to whom. Signaling is powerful. A small sigh, a pause, a tone change. These can send signals that something needs attention. But overdoing kills credibility. Underdoing loses warning. So timing matters. Context matters. If it's a formal presentation, you may want to use structured message but still admit concern. While these numbers look good, I have some reservations. If it's a one-on-one, you can be more vulnerable. I'm a bit uneasy about this path. And knowing your audience, what level of emotional disclosure is safe? What format? Also, how to self-regulate so emotions don't hijack the situation. That means breathing, reflection, pausing before speaking, framing your messages so that emotions work for you, not against you. When a leader panics, several things go wrong. 1. Clarity disappears.
Decisions get made reactionarily.
2. People feel uncertain. Trust breaks. 3. Communication becomes reactive instead of proactive. When CEO panicked, people reacted to his panic. They stopped thinking deeply. They started scrambling, asking questions, trying to calm him. That distracts from the real work. Also, morale drops. If employees think leadership is unstable, they lose confidence. Outcomes decrease. So, in organizations, the stability of emotional signals matters. Not to hide emotion, but to manage it so that panic doesn't become contagious. And employees who can stay composed while still being real often become anchors, helping steady the ship.